Welcome back to the Reldrick Geo channel, everybody. Today we're going to be reacting to another Think School video. Now, the last reaction video I did to Think School, one of the main video topics I saw was people asking for me to react to this one. And what is this video? Well, as you can see, it is how India fooled America and Pakistan to become a nuclear power. A geopolitical case study. So here we are. To be honest, again, history I do not know. Unfortunately, it's not. It was never taught to us over here in the West. At least when I was going to school in the Midwest of the United States, I did not get a speck of Indian history whatsoever. But now that I'm older, I'm branching out. I'm trying to learn as much history as possible. And right now, I am trying to absorb as much knowledge about the history, the culture, modern history and political times of India. So yeah, why not go ahead and watch this video? Again, this is a Think School video, so the link to the video will be in the description below, so make sure to go check them out, subscribe to them, give them a like as well, and let's go ahead and get this started.
Today, at 15:45 hours, India conducted 3 underground nuclear tests in the Pokhran range.
Just last week.
So the Pokhran range is over in Rajasthan, right?
India conducted a series of nuclear explosive tests. So
Good old
again,
Bill
I ask
Clinton.
India to halt its nuclear weapons program and join the 149 other nations that have already signed the Comprehensive Test Ban.
Pakistan, China, the United States of America and several other countries sharply reacted to the Indian nuclear tests.
लेकिन भारत ने इन सभी आलोचनाओं को किनारे करते हुए 13 मई को फिर से पोखरण में 2 और परमाणु परीक्षण किए।
A widespread atomic power industry in the world will necessitate an international society in which the major states have agreed to maintain peace.
तलवार की नोक पर या एटम बम के डर से कोई हमारे देश को झुकाना चाहे, दबाना चाहे, ये देश हमारा दबने वाला नहीं।
How did they fool? How India fooled USA and Pakistan to become a nuclear power? I wonder how they fooled them.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Ever since the Russia-Ukraine war and China-Taiwan conflict have escalated, the world has been constantly talking about one very, very important factor, and that is the possibility of a nuclear war.
It is getting real close with the whole Israel-Iranian conflict as well, because Iran, is it Iran? Iran? It's Iran, right? I'm bad with names. They're trying to get nuclear research and nuclear weapons, and they're being helped by Russia, I do believe. So it's always the world is always teetering on the atomic war.
Для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф.
And today, while every single country in this world is striving to make a mark in the world economy, one of the most powerful instruments of war is a country's ability to use a nuclear bomb. And did you know, before we became the second fastest growing economy, before we became a $2 trillion economy, there was a time when US, UK, China and Pakistan together tried to bully India and tried to suppress our power. And this threat was so high that the US even considered dropping a nuclear bomb. Yes,
What?
you heard that right.
Indian intelligence
When was this? When was this? What?
reports indicated
The fourth time he considered the nuclear option, Mr. Nixon said he was during the 1971 India-Pakistan War, when the United States was concerned that China might intervene on the side of Pakistan, triggering a Soviet intervention for India. What?
that the President Nixon had dispatched the 7th Fleet, led by 75,000-ton nuclear-powered aircraft carrier USS Enterprise, the world's largest warship, to the Indian Ocean.
But you know what, guys?
That's
Even then,
wild.
because of the extraordinary contributions and initiatives of legends like Homi Bhabha, Indira Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Dorabji Tata, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and the legendary Abdul Kalam, Today, India stands as a powerful nuclear state. And this journey took us 51 years and 2 generations of leaders and scientists to reach the destination. And today, their dedication is the reason why India stands at a respectable position in the world economy. But as usual, this is one of the most important chapters of Indian history that is not taught in schools and colleges. And maybe because the world of geopolitics is darker than our imagination. So
is it not taught in India either? Because I've never heard of this.
This episode today, let's do a deep dive and try to understand what were the most dangerous threats to India from Pakistan, China, and the United States. How did the leaders of India go against these superpowers of the world to establish India as a nuclear state? And what are the study materials to help you understand this critical and important chapter of Indian history?
I will say I like Think School a lot because he actually lists sources. So I bet you if we just go down here, yeah, here's the sources he has listed right here. That's great. That's fantastic. I really like this about this channel, how it actually lists all the sources.
This is a story that dates way back to 1940s India, when World War II had just ended. India had just got her independence, and for the first time in the history of mankind, the leaders of the world had seen the power of a nuclear bomb at Hiroshima.
August 9th, 1945, a United States Army Air Force B-29 dropped a 10,000-pound plutonium bomb nicknamed Fat Man over the city of Nagasaki, Japan, 3 days after Hiroshima.
A city died and 80,000 of its inhabitants were wiped out.
Japan surrendered less than a week later, bringing to an end World War II.
You know what's so crazy about that is the nuclear weapons we have now are hundreds of magnitudes more powerful than the nuclear bomb that was dropped on Japan. It's crazy to think how just like large scale an actual bomb blast would be in today's modern world. I mean, nuclear tests are done all the time, right? So like we wouldn't really necessarily have to worry about like a nuclear Earth, right? Like the fallout scenario, but it will destroy, cities, just topple big metropolitan cities everywhere. So let's hope it doesn't happen.
And when people saw what these bombs did to Japan, everybody realized that if they want to command a power in the 21st century, they have to have a nuclear bomb. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, the nuclear race began, with the most powerful countries, including the US, UK, and Russia, testing their nuclear weapons to prepare for this nuclear race.
On July 16, 1945, the clock ticked down to the first man-made nuclear blast in history.
Finally, after 3 years' work, the atomic experts were ready to test their first bomb. In the control shack was Dr. J.R. Oppenheimer.
President Truman's dramatic announcement that Russia has created an atomic explosion.
In connection with the president's statement that there has been an atomic explosion in the Soviet Union.
While US did their tests in 1945, Russia did it in 1949, UK did it in 1952, France did it in 1960, and lastly, China conducted their tests in 1964. And while these countries were conducting their nuclear tests, nobody in the world said anything. But as soon as this inner circle of world power finished their nuclear tests, they came up with something called the Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1968. This treaty stated that non-nuclear states must commit themselves to not manufacture or acquire nuclear weapons. Why?
Power for me, but not for thee. It's just a way of suppressing these so quote-unquote weaker countries, right? If you think about it.
Nuclear weapon states commit not to in any way assist, encourage, or help any non-nuclear state to acquire nuclear weapons. Basically, this treaty said, now that all the big boys have nuclear bombs, let's make sure that nobody else has it. In fact, India actually proposed a fair treaty saying that we all will disarm and promise not to develop weapons as long as the nuclear states promise to completely disarm their nuclear weapons. In short, India said, we will drop our weapons provided you do that too. But the harsh reality of geopolitics is that nobody gives a fish about justice or equality. So it got rejected. But you know what, guys?
Nobody gives a fish. I like that. That's funny. I like that.
As soon as the West proposed this unequal deal of non-proliferation, everybody jumped on board and 191 countries signed this treaty, except India, Pakistan and Israel, and later even North Korea withdrew from it. Now the question over here is, when so many countries signed this deal, why did India not sign it? Well, that is because, ladies and gentlemen, something crazy was happening at the borders of India.
I still need to read more on the conflicts between India and Pakistan.
On the 20th of October 1962, the Chinese army launched...
Oh, and then yeah, of course, China was took over Tibet, and then it started encroaching on India's land as well.
The massive attack on India.
इस युद्ध से मिली सीख ने भारत को सामरिक तौर पर मजबूत कर दिया था.
On October the 20th, 1962, the first Chinese shells came screaming down, and the war had begun.
On 20th of October 1962, the Chinese invaded Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh, and India lost about 43,000 square kilometers of land, which was captured by China in Aksai Chin. And from then till today, there have been border tensions between India and China. And then immediately, in just 3 years, we got attacked again by Pakistan, and this led to the 1965 India-Pakistan war.
By April,
that's what I thought he was talking about at first.
the armies of India and Pakistan were involved in a full battle over the control of the old Kanjarkot fort.
On top of that, Pakistan started to get cozy with China because we were their common enemy. And during the same time, India was a very, very weak country because our economy was in turmoil. We were facing...
I like that though. I like Calcutta. That's nice. I every time I see it, man, I don't know. I love the look of this. And this is Calcutta, right? Because we have the trams in the roads and anyways.
Facing both severe food shortages and famine problems all across the country. So in short, Pakistan and China was just one attack away from destroying our country. And this vulnerability is the reason why we did not sign the Non-Proliferation Treaty and started speeding up our process of becoming a nuclear state. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, the Cold War between India and Pakistan began. Here's where we saw three legends come together to achieve this incredible security deterrence for India, who were Lal Bahadur Shastri, Homi Bhabha and Dorabji Tata. While Dorabji Tata actively financed research initiatives, Homi Bhabha was able to use this capital to establish world-class institutes like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research and Trombai Atomic Energy Establishment in 1954. And cherry on the cake, in 1965, that is just 1 year after China became a nuclear state, Shastri ji actively gave the go-ahead for the production of nuclear explosives in India.
अगर तलवार की नोक पर या एटम बॉम्ब के डर से कोई हमारे देश को झुकाना चाहे, दबाना चाहे, ये देश हमारा दबने वाला नहीं. तो एक सरकार के नाते हमारा क्या जवाब हो सकता है सिवाय इसके कि हम हथियारों का जवाब हथियारों से दें.
And this is what led to the launch of Nuclear Explosive Design Group and something called the Study of Nuclear Explosions for Peaceful Purposes, or SNEPP. And you know what, guys? We were so close to developing this nuclear weapon that in a 1965 interview to All India Radio, Homi Bhabha had said that if we had the green signal, India could make a nuclear bomb in just 18 freaking months.
Wow.
And this sent such shockwaves across Pakistan that the then president of Pakistan, Zulfikar Bhutto, immediately announced, and I quote, "If India builds the bomb, we will eat grass or least even go hungry, but we will get one of our own." So you can imagine the intensity of the Cold War between India and Pakistan, right? But shockingly, in just 3 months, in January 1966, Homi Bhabha died in a plane crash. And what's even more shocking is that in the same freaking month, even Shastriji died due to suspicious reasons.
Wow.
As a result, the nuclear program of India took a hit. And just 5 years later,
it's a little too coincidental, huh?
Another India-Pakistan war broke out in 1971 when Pakistan launched something called Operation Searchlight on East Pakistan, which is modern-day Bangladesh.
There have been many reports of massacres in East Pakistan.
March 1971, the year of the killing begins. By ship and secret airlift, troops are brought to Dhaka. General Tikka Khan, popularly known as the Butcher, is sworn in as military governor. On the night of March 25th, the army moves to crush Bengal.
This was one of the bloodiest events in the history of Asia, whereby the Pakistani army killed 3 million Bengalis. These horrific incidents went on not for 1 or 2 months, but 9 long months and resulted into 10 million refugees who crossed the border to India.
Yeah, I reacted to a video where they were talking about, you know, the troubles that Bangladesh had gone through, and it another piece of history that was never taught to me in school. I'm sure, you know, if I lived in the time period, I would know about it, but you know, something that I never knew, and it's like 3 million people died. Other, you know, just other atrocious crimes that were committed to the people of Bangladesh, and it's just horrific.
And the most pathetic thing about this operation was that Pakistan did this just to bully Bangladesh to keep it under its control.
Yeah.
But in this process, the Pakistani army made one big mistake. In December 1971, Pakistani Air Force attacked the airfields in India, and when they did it, it gave India the legal justification to formally enter the war. And although India's motives weren't entirely humanitarian or selfless, the Indian army surrounded the Pakistani army, and they put Pakistan in such a position that Pakistan had to surrender to India within just 2 weeks. And in between this war, you know what happened? The United States of America deployed their 75,000-ton 7th Fleet against India in the Bay of Bengal. And this ship, mind you, was no ordinary ship at all. It was the world's largest warship and had a capacity to carry more than 70 fighters and bombers. And on the other side, we had the British ships in the Arabian Sea. So while the Brits were about to target India's western coast, the Americans were about to make a dash into the Bay of Bengal to Bangladesh. And between this British and American fleet was our one and only INS Vikrant with barely 20 light fighter aircrafts. And here's where, as we all know, Russia came to our rescue with a nuclear-armed fleet with 2 cruisers, 2 destroyers, support vessels, along with 6 freaking submarines. This is the reason why the Brits and Americans backed out, and finally, Bangladesh got its independence in March 1971. And this is when Richard Nixon, the then president of the US, actually considered dropping a nuclear bomb in India in 1971.
Crazy.
And it's not me who's saying this, it's the New York Times itself.
This
was the horrific
wild.
threat that was looming upon India when she was at the mercy of the big boys to protect her own territories. So immediately, on 7th of September 1972, Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi authorized the work on nuclear fission device. And a small team of 75 scientists from Baba Atomic Research Center began the process of designing and developing atomic bomb for India. And just 2 years later, the first nuclear test was conducted in India in 1974 under an operation called Smiling Buddha.
It is clear that in order to meet our growing requirements of energy for agriculture and industry, we must produce more electricity. Our science, particularly our nuclear science, is dedicated to development, to achieving freedom from want, and providing the essentials of an honorable life for our masses.
But this was not a weapons-grade test, but was a peaceful nuclear explosion that could be used for mining techniques or to conduct large underground works. And just when we were about to upgrade to the nuclear weapon stage, India met with another series of hurdles. The emergency happened, the government collapsed, the economy went topsy-turvy, and the second oil shock happened in 1979.
भाइयों और बहनों, राष्ट्रपति जी ने आपातकाल की घोषणा की है.
The proclamation of emergency meant that not only elections were banned, but there was strict censoring of the press as well. The period was termed as the darkest hour in Indian history.
The oil-producing countries of the Arab world decided to use their oil as a political weapon. They will reduce oil production by 5% a month until the Israelis withdraw from occupied territories.
We face the possibility of temporary fuel shortages and some increases in fuel prices in America.
So again, for the next 20 years, due to economic and political hurdles, we could not pursue our nuclear status at all. But you know what, guys? During this time, that is from 1975 to 1995, the Indian Army knew very well that China was sharing technology and materials with Pakistan. And they also knew that the Pakistani army would soon have nuclear weapons. And if they did, do you realize we would be cornered by two of our neighbors who possessed nuclear bombs? But
that would be very bad. that would be. I mean, what would the results of that have been if India didn't get nuclear weapons before that happened? I mean, like all the disputed territories that Pakistan and China has been trying to steal, you know, they would obviously take it, right? Yeah.
But somehow we could not do anything about it. So the question over here is, how did India handle the situation, and how the hell did we hack our way to become a nuclear state? Well, here's where we saw another ray of hope in 1995. By this time, India had opened up its economy, we started growing at a phenomenal pace, and eventually, we again came to a position to focus on our nuclear project. This is when PM Narasimha Rao approved a nuclear test, but unfortunately, the CIA detected suspicious movement at Pokhran and the mission was aborted. And 1 year later, we again tried to conduct the test, but it was put to hold again because of a call from CIA officials. But this is
why the CIA, the American CIA, was stopping India from producing the tests. In 1995, Rao approved a nuclear test, but it was aborted after the CIA detected suspicious movements. Oh, this is just exactly what he said. Okay. U.S. Ambassador to New Delhi, Frank Wisner, to return to India with photographs of the hole being dug at the test site and caveats of impending sanctions if India went ahead with it. Wow.
This is where, ladies and gentlemen, for the third time in 1996, Atal Bihari Vajpayee came to power. And this is where we saw three more legends come together to fulfill the long-standing nuclear dream of India. And they were Atal Bihari Vajpayee, APJ Abdul Kalam from DRDO, and R. Chidambaram ji, who was the chief of the Department of Atomic Energy in India. But even before they could get started, Vajpayee ji's government fell in just 13 days.
और ये सरकार अंतर विरोधों में घिरी हुई देश का कितना लाभ कर सकेगी?
The government collapsed in 13 days. Is that what he said?
ये एक प्रश्नवाचक चिन्ह है. हम अपने देश की सेवा के कार्य में जुटे रहेंगे. हम संख्या बल के सामने सर झुकाते हैं और आपको विश्वास दिलाते हैं कि जो कार्य हमने अपने हाथ में लिया है वो जब तक राष्ट्रीय उद्देश्य पूरा नहीं कर लेंगे तब तक विश्राम से नहीं बैठेंगे, तब तक आराम से नहीं बैठेंगे. अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं अपना त्यागपत्र राष्ट्रपति महोदय को देना.
I'm submitting my resignation to the President of India. What?
जा रहा हूं.
And again, for the next 2 years, nothing happened. And then came the climax year of 1998 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji again became the Prime Minister of India. So immediately on 8th of April, R. Chidambaram and APJ Abdul Kalam was summoned, thumbs up was given for the test, and the entire operation was conducted in such high secrecy that nobody except the then Home Minister knew about it. And the rest, as we saw in the Parmanu movie, an incredible team was set up at Pokhran. The team very cleverly avoided the US spy satellites with super accurate calculations. The nuclear devices were also...
Wait, okay, so they only... Is what he's saying here is they only worked on the test site when they knew the US satellites weren't over the area? That's kind of awesome.
Avoided the US spy satellites with super accurate calculations. The nuclear devices were also flown from different parts of the country to avoid suspicion. And finally, on 11th of May 1998, at around 3:45 p.m., India tested 3 devices, which were Shakti 1, Shakti 2, and Shakti 3.
1 fusion and 2 fission bombs. Okay.
This was followed by 2 more detonations of Shakti 4 and Shakti 5. And finally, the grand announcement was made by India to the world.
Today, at 15:45 hours, India conducted 3 underground nuclear tests in the Pokhran range.
This is how, ladies and gentlemen, India became a nuclear power. And you know what? Just 2 weeks later, Pakistan responded with its own atomic blast and became a nuclear power too. So you see, it was quite obvious and true that Pakistan was being supported by China or US to corner India.
Obviously,
this is how critical this nuclear testing was for the security of India. And all thanks to our brave and genius scientists and leaders, India today is one among just the 9 nuclear states in the world. And although US imposed sanctions is one...
It's Russia, France, China, United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. Really? That's it? Interesting. Interesting.
Among just the 9 nuclear states in the...
I guess a lot of the... I was thinking like, well, what about Japan? What about Korea? What about Taiwan? But the U.S. has the bank, or those 3 countries are backed by the U.S., right? So they wouldn't necessarily need it. And then I guess any country down in like Africa, or probably, I mean, I know there's a lot of like in the middle of like this is Sahara, like the countries in and around like the middle of Africa. France has a ton of bases, so there's probably a bunch of French nuclear weapons there. I'm surprised that more countries don't have it, but I guess they all signed that treaty, right?
World. And although US imposed sanctions on us, it was lifted soon, and India today is not just the second fastest growing economy, but also a powerful state that can voice an opinion that is seriously considered by the world. And this brings me to the last part of the episode, which are the study materials to help you dig deeper into this unsung achievement of India. Meanwhile, if you are someone who is interested in learning more about how India became a nuclear power, you should listen to this audiobook from Kuku FM. In fact, during the research of this video, I listened to this audiobook and gained a lot of insights on how India managed to achieve this historic feat. This audiobook will give you some intricate details as to why it was absolutely necessary for India to keep this operation hidden from the world, especially the United States of America. The most amazing thing about Kuku FM is its user-friendly app. This app has amazing features such as the drive mode feature, the savings note feature, the sleep timer feature, and many more features that will enhance your learning.
This looks like Apple. I just got to point this out. This looks very Apple-esque.
The sleep timer feature and many more features that will enhance your learning experience while you listen to these audio shows. Also, there are a lot of other audio shows on Kuku FM app that can help you in knowing more about the nuclear powers and geopolitics, like the US-India nuclear deal and the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. You will also get various audiobooks that will help you in your development, investment, nutrition, mental health, and even entrepreneurship. And guess what? All of this is available to you at only 49 rupees. Kuku FM is India's leading audio shows platform with 2.3 million active paid subscribers, 4.5 plus rating, and is available in Hindi and major regional languages all across India. And for the very first time, Kuku FM is now giving an exclusive 50% discount to users availing their first month subscription at only 49 rupees. So if this sounds useful to you, use my coupon code THINK50 and avail the discount directly from the link in my description.
I like to let them do their whole little sponsor ad bit. It's only fair to them, right? I'm reacting to the channel. They should, get their sponsorships. I should try to push their channel as much as possible. Remember, there's a link to their channel in the description down below, so make sure to go and check it out. And then I like to make sure that their ad reads are played out, so they get full support with that as well. All right, so I think he's just going to talk about these
Moving
study
on to
materials.
the study materials, the first thing I'm attaching are the documents about 1962, 1965, and 1971 wars of India with China and Pakistan.
If these are long, I might have to read these on my own time as well.
Secondly, I am attaching the documents that will tell you how much Pakistan was actually being supported both by US and China against India. And after so many threats and the suspicious death of the Prime Minister and Homi Bhabha, do you realize it takes guts to execute the nuclear test again? Whether that is Vajpayee ji, who did not care about his political power, or APJ Abdul Kalam and the scientists who risked their life just to make sure that our generation is safer than...
What was that? I don't know, man.
theirs. And lastly, I am attaching an article from a nuclear scientist himself about how Pokhran tests were conducted. So do have a look at them.
I think it's whenever someone does the peace sign. So like we have someone that's doing a peace right here. Yeah. It's whenever the OBS sees peace. I don't know what the setting is. It's not on my screen. It's only on OBS. So couldn't really tell you what exactly is going on with it. But okay. All right.
Political case studies. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
All right. So yeah, remember to go and subscribe to his channel. Okay, so I just want to take a quick little look at some of these study materials, or how he called it. There's a Word document, a very, very long Word document. So this one's on the Indo-Pak War of 1965. I definitely want to go through and read this. This is something that I'll probably read on my free time. We have a Times of India, how India-Pakistan War of 1971 started and how we won, and significance of Vijay. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am so bad with pronouncing things. I'm so sorry, guys. This person's name. One of these days, I just need to sit on stream, start up a stream and said, hey, you guys need to teach me how to, I don't know, at least, you know, some words in Hindi, right? Maybe that's probably like the most accessible thing for me to get into, I feel. So, because I'm really, really bad with it. Nuclear scientist explains how Pokhran happened. Okay. Declassified documents show that for over 15 years, Beijing rebuffed U.S. queries on China's aid on Pakistan nuclear program. The refusal by the Chinese diplomat in 1982 to give an unequivocal answer. Oh, so the China was helping Pakistan. China was helping Pakistan for a very long time. It looks like for a very, very long time. Strategic implications of China's nuclear aid to Pakistan. Another report there. Nuclear scientist Anil explains. This was on here twice. It looks like, yeah, okay. And then, oh nope, that's another video that I wanted to react to by the Graphic Earth. Why India is building this massive water highway network. Anyways, okay, cool. This was a great video. Fantastic little video. Again, more a subject I really didn't know about. Definitely something that I need to go back through and read. I mean, it looked like, could you imagine what would have happened if India had gotten their nuclear tests done before, what was it, the 1979 oil crisis? What was this exactly? This oil crisis that happened where the economy started to collapse and all that. Could you imagine? That would have been wild. That would have been crazy. Let's read some comments. Let's just go take a little gander at some comments here. Okay, I'm really disappointed that this type of Indian history is still not taught in schools. Edit, as a nation that has been independent for 7 decades, we have done so much that it should be part of our education. This is history, and anyone who says it isn't is wrong. Okay. When America, U.S. makes 1,000 nukes, Americans, we are the smartest and strongest nation. When Indians made 1 nuke, America's that is wrong. Threat to humanity. Okay. I am Portuguese. Our history is linked to India. It had its ups and downs, some we are not proud of, sadly, but it led us to the point that our Prime Minister's family is from Goa. Oh, that's cool. And many of our personalities have Indian ancestry. We have enormous respect for India, and its culture, and unfortunately there is an inexplicable closeness that makes us root for you as a nation and hope for the best outcome in the future. I wish you all the best, and congratulations on the channel. Yeah. I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm glad that India is a nuclear power. It balances out the geopolitical scenario in Asia. True. Can you imagine if it was just China and North Korea that had nuclear power? China would run rampant. I am Tibetan, and my parents, who took refuge in India along with the hundreds of thousands of Tibetans after the 1959 conquest of Tibet by China, we are forever grateful to India for everything they have provided to us, and we love India as we love our lost country, Tibet. Watch this video with immense pride and tears of joy and patriotism in my eyes. This video made me very emotional. I love you, India. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. China, man. if you guys watch the channel, you know I have great, unimaginable disdain for the CCP. I'm just... Anyways. As a Mexican, I respect India and its people. Oh, sweet. There we go. My brother. If you don't know, I am from the US of A. My ancestry, though, on my father's side is Mexican. My mother's side, it's Nordic. So I'm a Hispanic Viking, so to speak. Anyways. So Russia actually rescued India. That brought tears to my eyes. Don't forget those who stood with you when you were in your times of need. Yeah, Russia came in and bullied the UK and the US battleships away. Or aircraft carriers, not battleships. I don't know the classification. What were they again? They were aircraft carriers. In 2006, born. Oh gosh, this guy's a baby. I think he's born in 2006. Okay, I say he's a baby, but he's 22 years old now. Gen Z, but my father told me all about these things with no one in my age group even knew about them. Thanks, and Ganesh Bhaiya and the team for bringing this series. Will definitely help upcoming generations to feel proud about ourselves. Yeah, I didn't know anything about this. I mean, I'm much older than this person. I am from the U.S., but yeah, I absolutely zero clue about any of this. It's wild. It's crazy. As an American, I enjoy and use the perspective of others in this global brotherhood. I remember when India became a nuclear power, and I actually agree with you. India needed to become a nuclear power to counter Chinese aggression in this region. 100% they did. 100% they did. You're a humble fellow. I'm really impressed by the guts shown by the Indian leaders in the government, science, and business to achieve India's dream of becoming a nuclear power. It just goes to show that foreign powers can try to hinder and slow her down, but they can never truly stop India from achieving her place in world history by reclaiming her legendary position as a world power. That's pretty cool. Any recent comments here? Really proud to be an Indian. This needs to be added to the school syllabus. This doesn't translate. Awesome presentation. Loudspeaker. Why shall and what? Loudspeakers Azan should be banned. Why shall I and my family unnecessarily listen to it 5 times, 365 times a day? What? I don't want such things for my kids. What? What? India is not great because it has nuclear powers. It can be if it brings peace, culture, and health to the world. What did this person say? It brought yoga, Auravad, numbers, and 4 other major Eastern religions to the world. Manuel Pusa. Okay. Kindly share a neutral source that says the U.S. was supporting the Pakistan nuclear program. Well, the source he shared actually showed that the U.S. was just mostly China, right? China was the one that was supporting Pakistan's nuclear program. Click here to go to documents. Oh, geez. U.S. unease over secret China-Pakistan security military cooperation, Chinese assistance to Pakistan nuclear power, refusal of Chinese diplomats, yada, yada, yada. I mean, there's like documents upon documents here. Oh, yeah. Unclassified. There's a whole assortment of unclassified documents here that basically that was saying that it was all China that was supporting Pakistan and becoming a nuclear power. Okay. A day without hypocrisy is a day wasted. USA. Oof. Americans wants only itself to be a powerful nation, but if our nation wants to defend itself, we are wrong ones. We are a threat to humanity. Like, seriously, that level PF hypocrisy is them too much. Any opinions on Pakistan's nuclear program? In short, Congress didn't have balls. Okay. Anyways. I read some comments. I always like to see, take a little insight, take a little look, take a little gander on the whole comment spectrum there that goes on. Comments are so random. Comments are unbelievably random. But it's always fun to see. It's always fun to read a few. All right, but with that being said, guys, I think that's going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment. The channel just hit 2,000 subscribers. My goal for the end of the year was 1,000 subscribers. We're already at 2,000, so I guess I got to bump the goal up. 3,500 subscribers by the end of the year is the new goal, I guess. So yeah, if you have any recommendations for any videos you would like to see me react to, it doesn't even necessarily need to be about India. It can be about any country, be about any topic, any fact. Let me know down below, and I will add it to my list. I have about 50 videos, probably a little bit more than that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I have about 50 videos in my list of videos that I need to react to. But yeah, I'm always open to taking recommendations. So please let me know down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.